As you may or may not know, my wife and I just got back from Vegas. It was a great trip. We ate, we drank, we had a blast. But then we got home and looked at the credit card, and I gotta say, it doesn't matter how much fun you're having, $25 for a drink is a ripoff. Frickin' Vegas. I hate getting ripped off, and so do the lads over at Harry's. They spent years watching the razor blade companies rip people off and said, no more. Not all heroes wear capes, my friends, and they want to prove that they're legit by offering you hot dogs a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. I've been telling you about them for months, and I'm genuinely proud to have Harry's as a sponsor of this show. I wasn't kidding. The plastic, futuristic-looking crap razors you get at the store are overpriced and they're poor quality. Harry's blades are crisp, clean, and classy. They're the kind of razor you'd expect your grandpa to have on his bathroom counter. And most importantly, they work. Shave after shave, they're so smooth, they're precise. I used to go through the crappy store blades all the time, but Harry's are built to last. And they're not just better quality than the other names, they're more affordable. And they deliver. Just set your schedule, and for as little as $2, new blades, shaving creams, lotions, everything you need, right to your door when you need it. I genuinely cannot think of a reason not to try Harry's. And I'm not just saying this because they're sponsors. They're the best shaving supplies I've ever used. Try them out, and if you're not happy, your shave's on them. And unlike the other subscriptions, they're really easy to cancel if you want to too, which is a nice bonus, but believe me, you're not going to want to cancel. Getting ripped off isn't funny. Switch to Harry's. Get started with a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. That's harrys.com/RTG for a $3 trial set. All right, fuck. This is like my 5th attempt at getting this fucking intro right. So if I screw up this one, you're just going to have to listen to a fucked up intro because I'm losing my patience here. Here's the music. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 218. And I figured it's Halloween month, right? It's October. Let's get scary. We got to lean into the cliche. Let's scare it up. We're talking Dead Space. Not only because it's one of the scariest games I've ever played, but because it's one of the only scary games I've played that we haven't already covered here on the podcast. And I sincerely mean that. I am a pussy. For the longest time, Resident Evil 4 was about as scary as I could handle. And I am getting better. As I get older, most of my hair is already gray now, so it can't go white if I get scared. I'm getting better at this stuff now. The thing is, while I enjoy them, I just haven't played a ton. But that said, I'll argue that very few of the horror games out there, whether I've played them or not, can stand up against Dead Space. If we were going to talk a scary game, Dead Space is the way to go, because this game, my friends, is practically perfect. Not quite. It's got some very minor scratches, but you got to find them with a magnifying glass. This game is almost flawless. I just replayed it on Twitch over the past week or so to get ready for this podcast. It was my first time playing through it since my initial playthrough of it probably 12, 13, 15. I'm not sure how old this game is now, but 12 some years. Like, it's been a long time since I played it. And I can't get over how well it still holds up. I hate to praise games with EA's greasy fingerprints on them, but this game is just superb. It is just outstanding. And for the record, if you are interested in checking out that playthrough, some of the videos from it are still available on Twitch. I'm still learning how to be a good content creator. Apparently Twitch deletes your videos on demand after a couple of weeks. So I've been exporting. I've been exporting them to YouTube. The entire playthrough should be the newest iteration of Adam Sucks at Video Games. It should be available on YouTube by the end of the week. I just need to find time to finish getting all the videos up there. The first few should be up there by the time you hear this. So youtube.com/rememberthegame if you want to check out my playthrough, and twitch.tv/rememberthegame as I plug all the time. I am trying to get more and more active over there, so swing by. We get new listeners almost every day, every time I'm on stream. People come by and they're like, hey, your podcast sucks or doesn't suck. I'll be fine with either of those. Just come and say hi. But anyway, we're talking Dead Space. My pal Patrick is my guest this week. We went for about an hour on this bad boy. We had a lot to say. I will warn you, we spoiled the fuck out of it. It's like 12 years old or something. We could spoil it. But even if you haven't played it, this episode's worth a listen. I don't think this story is that spectacular to begin with, and so we are going to spoil it. I don't think it's that great. We won't spoil any of the big jump scares for you or anything. And I think this episode is just going to make you want to play Dead Space even more. I think this episode will convince you. Unless you're a pussy like me, then this episode might just scare you away. But we'll get to all that in just a minute, because speaking of potentially scaring you away, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. Dun, 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 dun. 5 fucking tries. I finally that's as good as that intro was going to get. Fuck me. If you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. Consider this your warning. Our intros are kind of long, but they're fun. And they're not half as hard on your heart as Dead Space will be. It's probably harder on your ears, but easier on your heart. So if you do want to skip it, if you're just here for Dead Space talk, go about 30 minutes up the road. I recommend checking out the intro. We talk video games and stuff. It's fun. I do have to get my plugs out of the way. It's how I pay the bills around here. We have merchandise, hoodies, t-shirts, coffee mugs, posters, all kinds of stuff. Rocking incredible art that was all drawn and designed by my man Joe. You can check out his work at 4545creative.com, and you can find our merchandise at rememberthegamepodcast.com if you're interested. It is a great way to support the show and put a couple of bucks in our pockets. We split I don't just rip Joe off. We split the revenue. So you're not supporting me. You're supporting an actually talented artist as well. And if you're like, I don't need clothes. Not for me. I get it. You could always just consider supporting us on Patreon. It's about the best deal in the history of the universe. For $2 a month, you get 2 extra podcasts every week. So that's like 8 to 10 extra podcasts a month for just $2. You get exclusive access to my gaming news show, Game Patch, every Friday, where I look at the biggest news in modern video games and I add in my opinions and some profanity and stuff like that. And Expansion Pass drops every Thursday, and it's a different episode every week. We do rankings. We look back at specific characters, consoles, franchises. We do some comedy episodes. There's tons of spoiler-free modern game reviews in there. This past week on Expansion Pass, I counted down the 10 games I want to play the most, but haven't played before. Got a lot of great feedback from people. I think there's some surprises on the list for sure. I listed off a ton of honorable mentions as well. This episode was really kind of a sneak peek at the backlog from hell that I'm always talking about. And as is becoming tradition during the intro, here is a sneak peek of last week's episode of Expansion Pass, the 10 games I want to play the most, but haven't. Earthbound is one of my favorite games of all time. Mother 3 is very good. I've never played the first one, where the whole trilogy started. It is available now. It's on the Nintendo Switch, on the Switch Online. It was added to the Wii U. I think I bought it on the Wii U and then never got around to playing it. I have no idea when I'm going to get around to playing Earthbound Beginnings, but there's just, I will be you'll have to drag me into the depths of hell to kill me before I play the first and the final chapter of the fucking Mother/Earthbound trilogy. I am going to play that game someday. I can't wait to play that game. So number 10, I wanted to rank it higher. And that was the problem, was I was like, this ranking list was really tough because I wanted if I had the option, I would freeze time for the next 3 months and just plug away my backlog and knock at least these top 10 off. These are all games I am desperate to find time to play at some point. So that's now available on our archives. And this week for Expansion Pass 132, we're going to talk about PS Plus, the new PlayStation Plus tiers, the services they've rolled out. I've had PlayStation Plus Premium for a month or two now. I have a lot to say about it. I have some opinions. I'm going to share them. If you've been on the fence about upgrading your PlayStation Plus subscription, maybe this will help you decide one way or the other. It should be a good episode. So again, $2. Gets you 2 extra shows every week, plus instant access to over 250 archived extra podcasts. And people have been asking, you can add them to just about every podcast service except Spotify, because Spotify doesn't play nice with others because they're on top of the world and they don't have to. But they're very easy to get all these episodes on your phone, and then the new ones just show up there and you listen to them like every other, blah, 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 blah. And not only do you get a ton of extra podcasts, but you also get a ton of extra stuff. You get access to our Remember the Game Discord, which is creeping up on 1,000 members. You get a chance to vote in our Patreon poll at the end of every month, and you get the ability to submit comments to be read on all of the shows, and you can DM with me, and you get a shout out and get to hear me mispronounce your name like I'm about to do to most of these people. huge thank you to all of our newest Patreons. Jesse Wilkes, Subpar Nova, Subdued. I fucking love that handle. Subdued. Wesley, Jason Harushka, Tough and Cool, BB, Super Smash Controls, John Sheely, Greg Bevington, Jeffrey Gamer, Jeremy Byers, Ricky Ticky Bobby Wobbin, I like that, Solomon Soto, Zombie Exy, Jake White, Danny Young, Drew Dwayne, Jeremiah Platts, E2 Koivitsto, sounds Finnish, Darth Skywalker, Gold Coin Mountain, M. Koa, Impressive Beans, not like those standard regular beans that listen to Retronauts, Chad Newton, Tommy Bahama, Adam Goose, Denton Van Zan, and Postman. Thank you all so much for the support. Welcome to Remember the Game Industries, patreon.com/Remember the Game. And to wrap up the sales pitch, 2 quick notes. We have annual memberships now. Sign up for a year at any subscription level. Just get your 12th month for free. And 5% of our Patreon every month is being added to a pool we're going to be donating to the Stollery Children's Hospital as part of the 24-hour charity stream I do at the end of every year. We're around $2,300 now with still 2 months to go. So thank you all so much. You're helping the kids. You're helping me. You're helping my dog. You're keeping the lights on here, and I'm giving you a ton of subpar gaming podcasts. It's win, 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 win. And like I said, you can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Remember the Game if you want to come by, or youtube.com/Remember the Game. I'm going to try to start uploading more of my Twitch replays over there so you can find that stuff as well. All right. That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our patrons, usually gaming related, but not always. And we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is Ungloma. I have no idea how the fuck to say that. Ungloma. Whew, I think I fucked that up pretty bad. I don't know. I'm sorry, Glama. I don't know how to say this. Do you, Mr. Blank, or any of you hot dogs out there feel guilty just playing video games? I've stumbled over a new kind of problem in my own life. I have always played and collected games since I got my 64 back in my golden gaming years. But as I've gotten older, house restoration, work, and other pressing matters keep piling up, and I feel guilty every time I sit down and try playing a new game. I want to enjoy a couple hours a week playing. I just can't. Best regards, George Best regards, George, long-time lurker here. Sorry for the bad English grammar. Jesus Christ. Sorry for the bad English grammar. I'm from Norway. Dude, you killed it, George. I'm from Canada, and all I've ever spoken my entire life is English, and I can't fucking do it. So you're doing better than me already. I butchered the fuck out of that. And George's grammar was spectacular. My ability to read was really, really bad. This has been a terrible fucking start to the podcast. Anyways, to answer your question, George, yes, I have always, well, not always, but since I quit my day job, I felt guilty about playing games. As long as I had a job, I've always been the type of person that, like, I need to get my chores, you know, my responsibility. I got to get my shit done. And then once it's done, I'm like, if I just want to sit here and play video games for 5 hours now, I got all my shit done, I'm playing. And whether that meant, you know, I just got home from work, or it meant, you know, I cut the grass and did the laundry, or fucking, you know, did whatever I had to do. As long as and I still feel like that today. As long as I feel like I've put in a hard day's work and I've gotten everything done, and I'm not being a lazy piece of shit, I'm like, no, fuck that. Life is too short. I'm going to enjoy some of it by playing video games. Everyone deserves to have the chance to relax. I think the only people that should feel guilty about gaming are the people that aren't taking care of the responsibilities. They're just gaming. So, but I do feel that way. Even now that it's my job, only in the last, I still argue I'm not quite there, but I'm getting close now. Just now, I'm finally allowing myself to play video games during the day when my podcasts and stuff are done. And I have to, because there's no way I can get all the games done. I got to get played for this podcast. But I've always felt guilty playing them during the day when I'm like, I should be doing something, even though this has become my job. So I totally get it, George. I don't think you're alone at all. I guarantee you a bunch of people listening to this feel the same way. You feel guilty when you sit down and try to just sneak in a little bit of game time. Get your shit done, put in a hard day's work, and then I think reward yourself. Enjoy yourself. Give yourself, I try to leave myself a day a week. It doesn't always work. And I know I've got it easier than a lot of people because I don't have kids or anything, but I try to leave myself, if not a day, at least a couple hours that I can just do whatever the fuck I want. And if it's playing video games, then so be it. If it's playing poker, so be it. If it's, you know, rubbing one out, I mean, that only takes me like a minute, and then I go back to the video games, whatever. Treat yourself, George. Don't feel guilty. You work hard. Treat yourself to some video games. Great English. Thank you for writing in. Ocelot of Woe wrote in and said, a friend of mine tells me not to play the new God of War on my PS4, but to wait until I get a PS5. Since he doesn't pay any of the bills in my house, I'm going to do what I want. I'll do what I want. My question is, do you think that there are some games that people should wait to play until they get their hands on one of the newer consoles? This is hard for me to answer, Ocelot of Woe, because I'm not the world's biggest graphics guy to begin with, and I've had the newer consoles for quite a while. So I don't mean to take out my dick and be like, I have the new consoles, but I haven't played a lot of games that are, because I get what your friend is saying, that like I feel that way too. Like Horizon Forbidden West was available on PS4 and PS5, but that game was gorgeous, and I'm sure it looks fine on the PS4. But I'm like, no, wait and play it on the PS5 and play it as sexy as possible. That said, particularly if you're not a graphics snob, who fucking cares? Play whatever you want. But what do I think? I do have a few games that I'll recommend. If you can wait until you can play them on a next-gen console. Doom Eternal. That was the first game I played on my Xbox Series X. And so I can't technically speak to how it looks on the Xbox One, but it looks magnificent on the Series X. So I recommend waiting for that. I think it goes without saying, wait to play Cyberpunk on the next-gen consoles because it doesn't fucking work on the last-gen consoles, or at least it didn't. The God of War 2018, that's when I got my PS5, was in the middle of my God of War PS4 playthrough, and I transferred my save over and continued playing it on my PS5. It was a notable difference. So I would say if you can wait to play that on PS5, do it. And Horizon Forbidden West, I think that game is stunning looking. And probably best experience on the PS5. So, and then if Resident Evil Village is on both, and I think it is, then I would recommend waiting to play that on next gen consoles as well. But if you don't care about graphics and stuff, to me, the big thing is the 60 frames per second. Any game that'll let me put it into 60 FPS. I'm not a big tech guy, but man, it's hard to go back to, going back to 30 FPS after playing 60 is like going back to standard def TV after playing HD or watching HD TV. It's fucking insane. So that would be a few of my picks. But yeah, do what you want. That said, PS5s are becoming a little bit easier to find. So if you can find one and you can afford one, treat yourself. Just like I said, sometimes you got to spoil yourself. Thanks for writing in. Tristan McSquish, I like that name, wrote in and said, Adam, I've been hesitant writing this in, but I think I should, though I do worry it might be a bit heavy for the normally lighthearted mood of your podcast. So here goes. I'm not sure how to say this, but thank you. Let me explain. A close friend of mine named Johnny committed suicide last November, and it still feels fairly fresh. I despise that work in society thinks that I should continue as normal. My friends and I were always amused when we played games together, as he'd regularly go into Bill Burr-like rants similar to your Angry Adam when we play and get stuck in an area. Unfortunately, his loss also means my friends and I, who played with him regularly, almost nightly for 5 years, just can't play certain games anymore. But all that said, and as sad as it is, thank you again, because through your ranting and the way you talk about games in general, you bring a smile to my face when I need it most and allow me to remember him in a happier way. After talking with a dude semi-nightly for a decade straight, it can be hard to accept that they're gone, but I think I found your podcast at the right time because it's been helping me accept the loss and cope with the grief. I'm sorry this was so long, but again, I can't say it enough. Thank you. If you or anyone else wants to help keep his memory alive, I recommend listening to Whiskey Row by John Little on YouTube. Johnny was a country boy and wrote some slapping songs. In the future, if you like, I can share one of my favorite Johnny stories. For now, thank you for helping me accept a painful loss. I don't have any stupid comments to make here, believe it or not. First of all, I'm very sorry to hear that, Tristan, and obviously, much love to you and your friends and to Johnny's fam. I won't say, I'm not going to sit here and fish for sympathy or anything and pretend that this guy was like one of my best friends, because he wasn't, but a good buddy of mine from high school, unfortunately, took his own life a few years ago as well. And it's just, I'm sure we're not the only ones, and I don't want to bring the show down or, make it a somber tone. But anyone that's felt that sting, man, that is a sting that fucking doesn't go away. So I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you for letting me be part of your life. Thank you for listening to the show. I'm glad it's helping. And I just cannot stress this enough. If you're listening to this and you need to talk to somebody, there are options. Talk to somebody. For the love of fuck, please talk to somebody. Message me. I don't know. I'll make a stupid joke. I'll yell at you. Whatever you want. Just talk to somebody. So thanks for sharing that, Tristan. I forget. I was like, what the fuck does that say? I forget. Wrote in and said, Mr. Blank, your squeaky voice teenager on The Simpsons is spot on. Thank you very much. I don't know what a donair is. I've seen stuff on Trailer Park Boys advertising it, and you talk about eating them. A Google search just confused me even further. Your podcast is awesome, gets me through both my jobs. Seems like you're living the dream in a non-sarcastic way. I very much am. I forgot, because of people like you. So thank you. Dude, I'm not dunking on you at all, I forget. I decided to read this on this for the very purpose of saying I'm so sick of people giving me shit about what donairs are. I've tried to explain what donairs are a million times. Google it. Apparently they're the same as gyros or gyros or however the fuck you say it. Some people say they're not. Some people say they are. I have people telling me I don't know what a donair is. Suck my balls. I eat them with the very mouth that's saying the words you're hearing right now. I know what a donair is. It's mystery meat, seasoned to perfection, boiled in its own grease, cut off of a giant skewer, wrapped up in a pita bread thing with sauce and lettuce and tomatoes and onions and cheese and all kinds of, and it's delicious. It's the best hangover food in the world. And if you don't know what they are, I'm sorry, you're just missing out. But if you keep writing in, and not you, I might forget, but I'm just in general, if you people keep telling me that I don't know what a donair is, I'm gonna start blocking your asses, because I know what they are, because I fucking eat them. You don't know what they are. Get the fuck out of my house. Google them. Donairs. Delicious. Each one takes about 3 days off your life, though. Michael Praj. Dude, I don't know how the fuck to say your name, Mike. Mike Prajes. MP wrote in and said, hey, dude, rummaging through the backlog of You Remember the Game, and I had a question to shoot your way. Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Any thoughts on covering this beauty, this gem, this knockout of a game on there? Podcast has come one hell of a way. Keep up the stellar work, and maybe I'll see you at a show the next time you're in Toronto. Thank you, MP, for writing in. Yeah, we'll definitely do Twilight Princess at some point. I don't always, dude, almost every week I get 3 or 4 comments from people asking, are you ever going to cover this game or this game? And I don't read all of them just because, like, we're up to 60-some blowing in the cartridges every week, and it's just really difficult for me to read all of them. But Twilight Princess is one that comes up quite a bit. I played about 2/3 of Twilight Princess on the Wii when it first came out, and I didn't care for it, but I think that's because I just hate the fucking Wii. I have the GameCube version sitting right here, 4 feet in front of me on my shelf, courtesy of my friend Daniel, who lent it to me to play it. I have a GameCube sitting right here, 3 feet in front of me on the shelf. Those measurements are approximate. I don't know when, but I will 1,000,000,000% cover Twilight Princess. If anything, just for the downloads, because the Zelda episodes always do big numbers. I just got to get around to playing it again, and I don't know when that's going to happen. But yeah, some point we will definitely cover Twilight Princess. Graham I wrote in and said, I'm sure I'll take some heat for this comment, but I feel it's in your best interest, Adam. It's time to retire the Mario tax when you score games. I get it's your favorite game, but other great games may miss out on a top score. Just my thoughts. Keep up the great content. I am never opposed to legitimate feedback like this, Graham. That said, I'm not going to spoil the episodes, but there are 1, 2, maybe 3? I know for a fact there are 2 games in the 218 episode archives of this episode or this show that aren't Super Mario World that have gotten the perfect scores. And there might be 3. I want to say there's 3, but I can't think of what the third one is. But there are 2. So I'm not going to retire the Mario tax, but I will say there is the very, very occasional game that overpowers the Mario tax and manages to get the reluctant perfect score. But it's very, very, very rare. I refuse, because most games aren't as good as Super Mario World, and I'll die on that hill. John Truckosaurus wrote in and said, hi, Adam, I just saw the Mario Brothers movie trailer and it felt weird. I'm not saying it's going to be a bad movie. It's just adding celebrity voices to these mostly silent characters that we've all known for decades. It's just that adding celebrity voices to these mostly silent characters we've all known for decades doesn't feel right. Chris Pratt doesn't even do the iconic Mario voice we all know and love. What are your thoughts on this movie? My apologies if you've already covered this. I did talk about it a little bit on Game Patch last week for our patrons, but I'll get into it because I have been getting so many messages from people. We had half a dozen people blowing in the cartridge this week asking about the Mario Brothers movie. I have seen the trailer. I like it. I know some people are dunking on Chris Pratt as Mario. I like Chris Pratt. I'll be honest. Yell at me if you want to. I like the guy. So I'm intrigued by it. I thought it looked great. I visually, I thought it looked phenomenal. I think Jack Black is going to fucking murder it as Bowser. I adore Jack Black. Bowser's my favorite video game character of all time. Yes, fucking perfect. I think Chris Pratt's going to do well. And the thing is, I know a lot of people are saying that, we're used to like the, like wahoo Mario voice. But I think that would get incredibly old in a 90-minute movie. Like if there's a lot of dialogue, as I assume there's going to be, I don't know if I want to listen to him just like, where am I? What is this place? Who are you? Oh my God. Now what do we do? It would just, I think it would run its course. I think, and the thing is, for old school fans like myself that grew up with the Super Mario Brothers Super Show with Captain Lou Albino, that's my Mario. That's the Mario I want. You know, so I'm down. I can't wait. I cannot fucking wait to see this movie. I love the casting. I think Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong is going to be rad. Charlie Day as Luigi is going to be phenomenal. I can't remember who voices most of the other characters, but I'm excited. For all of you that have been asking me how I feel about this movie, I cannot, opening weekend, no doubt in my mind. I think it's going to be, I will, fuck. I was going to call my shot, and as of right now, on Tuesday, October 11th, 2022, say that when the Mario Brothers movie comes out, it'll go down as the greatest super video game movie of all time. But yeah, I'm going to do it. I just probably fucked that movie for all of us and just jinxed everything. But I am going to call my shot. We're going with it. I think it's going to be outstanding. Best super or video game movie ever. Can't wait. Finally, holy fuck, it's been a long blowing in the cartridge. It's letter time. Alaskan Bullworm wrote it. He said, what's the difference in your experience of a game when you're playing one for the podcast versus just playing one for enjoyment? When you mentioned you were going to be reviewing Pokemon Legends Arceus, I wanted to be able to contribute to the conversation in a meaningful way, and all of a sudden I felt this pressure while I was playing. I found myself taking a lot of notes and exploring the game in more depth than I might have otherwise. I also didn't want to play under the influence of anything in case I glossed over any important details. That's a good question, Alaskan Bullworm. Honestly, I don't really change. The only real way that I change games when I play them for the podcast versus when I play them just because I want to play them is sometimes I binge them, like I'm doing with Grand Theft Auto 4 right now, because hopefully that's gonna be next week's episode, because I want to get them done so I can do the podcast. Whereas like if I was playing it casually, I'm like, I could just, throw it on when I want to play it. When I don't want to play it, I go play something else. So I guess if anything, that would be how games change for me when I play them for the podcast, is sometimes I do almost feel like I'm forced to play it as opposed to I want to play it. And that can change the way you look at a game. But on the same note, it's also made me stick with some games that I probably would have just said, this is not. Shadow of the Colossus is outstanding. And if I hadn't played that for the show, I think I would have said, I don't want to play this because I don't like the controls. But I stuck with it, and it turned out to be a fucking gem of a video game. Grand Theft Auto. I've never finished a GTA game, and now I finished San Andreas and Grand Theft Auto 4 the last 2 years, both for this podcast, and I probably never would have played them otherwise. So in a good sense, the show changes the way I play games because it forces me to stick with a game that I otherwise wouldn't stick with. But in a negative sense, sometimes I'm like, I don't want to play this anymore. I'm kind of like, Pokemon Legends Arceus is a perfect example. If I had a year to just pick that up and play it whenever I wanted to, maybe I would have liked it more. But the fact that I played through the whole thing in about a month, and I got so sick of the fucking dialogue in that game, but had to keep going back to it. It almost hurt it in my eyes a little bit, if that makes sense. But I don't really take notes or anything. I count on the old noggin to just remember anything I want to talk about. So, and if you are interested, my Legends Arceus is one of those modern game reviews that's available for $2 a month at patreon.com/rememberthegame. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Thank you so much to everybody that wrote in and blew in the cartridge this week. As always, I can't get to all of them, but I'm very grateful. Let's change things up and let's get into our Smash Hit segment, the official game show of Remember the Game. Play 1, remake 1, erase 1. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration on the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week, I give our Patreons 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game. The third is erased from time forever. And as always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one, and we'll get there in just a minute. This week, I decided to go with 3 retro horror games that are not Silent Hill or Resident Evil, because when one of those is on the chart, they dominate. So we got Fatal Frame for the PS2, Fear 2 for the PS3, and Condemned Criminal Origins for the Xbox 360. They might be on other consoles. I've actually never played any of these ones, so I'm just telling you what consoles the box art I found was on them. 29% of our listeners said they would play Fear 2, remake Condemned, and erase Fatal Frame. Let me see what a few of you had to say here, then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Darth Skywalker wrote in and said, this one is quite... Skywalter. Oh, I just caught that. I thought it was Skywalker, but I think it's Skywalter. Anyway, Darth wrote in and said, this one is quite easy. Play Fear 2. Game still holds up, and it was one of the definitive titles on the of the PS3 Xbox 360 generation. Remake Fatal Frame, amazing concept, and with that Japanese horror touch that only they can provide, but suffered with some clunky mechanics that could easily be solved with a remake. Erase Condemned, never played it, never wanted to, don't care. I normally dunk on people for erasing games that they've never played, but you seem to have some love and some logic behind your reasoning for playing and remaking Fear and Fatal Frame. So, all right, fair enough. Well played, Darth. You get a point. Enjoy your cookie. For some reason, it put the username and then their comment on 2 separate pages of my Word document here. Super Smash Controls said, hang on, let me scroll to the next page. Hey, Adam, I would play Fear 2 because that game hasn't aged badly at all, and that reflex time and ability that which slows the game down gave me huge Max Payne vibes. I would remake Condemned because we need a game that focuses on melee combat, puzzle solving, searching for fingerprints, gathering evidence, etc. And I would drop Fatal Frame 6 feet into the earth because it already got a remake on the Switch. I've never played it, but using your camera obscura to defend yourself against horrifying ghosts that pursue you sounds stupid as fuck. I'm here to fuck ghosts up, not take photos of them. For the record, you're not getting on double secret probation for this because there's no official rules, so I can't sit here. The only official rule is that you have to play one, remake one, and erase one. Traditionally, I say that if you don't remake a game that has a remake, you erase its remake. But I'm just, now we're getting into the whole, well, what if you went back in time and made out with your grandfather? Would you still be born? So I'm not making out with my grandfather. So I'm not going to fucking hold your balls over the fire for that, Super Smash. I will say, the fact that you compared Fear 2 to Max Payne gets me a little hot and horny. Now I'm more interested in Fear 2 than I was 90 seconds ago. BB wrote in and said, you have to play Fear 2. The Fear games are amazing just the way they are. Remake Condemned, it needs a fresh coat of paint, and I would erase Fatal Frame because, let's be honest, no one really knows this game. Oh, fuck. For the record, I didn't say, listen, BB, there is a very vocal, small portion of our community that has been up my ass to play Fatal Frame for 4 years. So don't yell at me, yell at BB. I'm sure you can find BB on the internet. Just yell at anyone on the internet with the initials BB. Tell them you can stick up for your precious Fatal Frame. BB continues. P.S. I know it's Halloween, but can Let's Play remake and erase some good, can Let's Play remake and erase some good shooters? Oh, I think what you're saying is, can we do a play, remake, and erase with some good shooters? It's enough with the scary games. Now, so when I put your comment into my notes, I was like, fair enough. I like criticism. But then I got thinking about it. We did shooters last week, didn't we? With Half-Life. Didn't I do Doom, Wolfenstein, and Duke Nukem? I think I did. So, no. Next week, I'm going to make, even though it's not going to fit because it's going to be probably Grand Theft Auto 4, as long as the stars align and I get the episode done, I'm going to put 3 horror games in there. Just for spite. And then Subdued, fuck, I love that name, wrote in and said, I hate horror, so I'm going entirely by box art here. Play Fear 2 because it looks the least likely to cause involuntary urination. Remake Fatal Frame because someone's bound to like it. Nowhere in the rules does it say I have to play the remake. And erase Condemned because it looks the scariest. You know what I like about your logic is that your name is Subdued, and you hate horror and you're ranking them in the order that you think they would scare you the least. Name checks out. Well done. For the first time ever, I myself am picking my order 100% based on the box art because I know nothing of these games, and I'm agreeing with 16% of you, including Joe Kirby, who wrote in and said, man, you picked another good batch of games. Here's my reasoning. I never played Condemned, and I've always wanted to, so I'll play it. I'll remake Fatal Frame because that game was amazing, and I'm going to have to axe Fear 2. It's a good game, and the series is phenomenal, but it doesn't stack up against the others, which is fascinating because everyone in the comments was like, fucking play Fear 2. That's the same order I'm going to go in. I'm going to play Condemned just because I think it's got the most interesting looking box art of the 3. I never do just by box art, but I don't know anything about these games. I'm going to remake Fatal Frame because while I know a bunch of you have been on me to play it, a PS2 game needs a remake of most of these 3. So I'm going to go by that. And I'm going to erase Fear 2 because I don't care for your box art or the fact that you spelled your name F.E.A.R. which is a real pain in my ass. So I'm erasing Fear 2 out of spite. That's my logic. And that's it. What have I been playing over the last week? And then we'll get into talking Dead Space. I've been playing Grand Theft Auto 4 like a fiend. Trying to finish it. I'm very close. Hopefully that'll be the episode next week. That's what I'm aiming for. I've been playing Dead Space, as you probably are aware. We're about to talk about it. And I've been playing Shovel Knight Dig on my phone, which is a new roguelike Shovel Knight game. And it's not bad. I might do an expansion pass about it. I'm not sure if there's enough meat on the bone. It's been a while since I dropped one of those. I don't know if there's enough meat on the bone for a full review of it on expansion pass, but when I'm done it, I'll decide. But it might be. And then I'm hoping once I've got GTA 4 off my plate in the coming days, I'll be firing up Star Wars Episode 1 Racer on the Nintendo 64 because that's a Patreon poll from 2 months ago that I need to get to. And I'll be firing up Ogre Battle March of the Black Queen or whatever the fuck that game is called. You all know, those of you that know. That's the next sponsored episode that I have to get to. So I'll be firing that up in the coming days as well. Let's talk Dead Space. That's why you're here. I've gone on long enough. I like to give my listeners a chance to sound off before my guests and I hog the spotlight. We got a ton of comments this week. I'm going to rip through a few of them here really quickly. Stephen Parnell said, I love this game. The jump scares and the weapon system that I thought were awesome. Rather than just being bullet sponges, you actually have to strategically cut off limbs. It can be very fun indeed. Also, the powers are cool. Nothing's more satisfying than cutting a monster's claw off and then impaling him with it. I agree on every single point. The combat in this game is awesome. The jump scares are awesome. The being able to throw body parts of enemies at enemies is... You're going to hear all about this again, but fucking all awesome. I love this game. Lugnut said, glad Dead Space is getting some love. To put this into perspective, I'm a huge horror game fan, and my favorite movie of all time is Alien. Mash those two together, and this series scratches the deep itch that I have. I play this series at least once a year. Can't wait for the remake. It looks amazing. I can't speak to the movie, the Alien movies, because I haven't seen them. I know, yell at me. But I cannot wait for the fucking remake either. Look, now we talk about that a little bit toward the end of this episode. Lord Drominix wrote in and said, I'm so happy you finally decided to cover this gem of a game. Seeing you play this on stream has me itching to take my PS3, blow the dust off, and play this bad boy again. I remember when I played this back in high school, I'd never been a fan of scary games, movies, or any scary media, but this game was recommended by my best friend. I usually played it from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. because that's when I was done with my schoolwork. My friends would message me through PSN Network saying I was crazy for playing Dead Space at that hour. Gory as fuck. Love how the game uses music and sound effects to have you on your toes the whole time, not knowing when necromorphs are going to come in. I am planning on tattooing Isaac's suit on my gaming arm to show how much love I have for this game. P.S. If you haven't played this game, keep an eye at the... And then it cuts out. Bum, bum, bum. I love the idea of the tattoo as well. Yeah, this game's fucking... What else can I say? This game slaps. I'm going to explain why in 2 seconds. Last comment. Total Condom wrote, not Total Condom. Said, when I got my Xbox 360 back in the day, I really only got it to play Halo, Left 4 Dead, and Oblivion. My dad saw how much I had and got himself a 360 as well. He was a big fan of Doom and Quake back in the day, so naturally he gravitated to sci-fi and horror shooters like Fear 2 and Dead Space. I gave it a go one day just because it was a game that was there, and I absolutely fell in love. My all-time favorite game is Resident Evil 4, and this felt like that game, but in space. The atmosphere, the weapons, and the gameplay kept me coming back for more, and that plasma cutter, what a fantastic weapon. You literally just summed up the whole episode in about 8 sentences. Total Condom. I'm a huge Resident Evil 4 fan as well. We talked about the comparisons between this game and Resident Evil, and it's time for you to fucking hear them. Let's get into it right now. My buddy Patrick and I are going to talk. Oh, wait, I got to cue up the music. Sorry. So let's cue up some music. And when it stops, my buddy Patrick and I are going to talk motherfucking Dead Space, which originally released in North America on October 13th, 2008. Enjoy the podcast, everybody. Let's go. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Everyone that listens to this podcast knows about our illustrious CEO, my dog Molly. But the other silent partner behind the scenes is my wife. And let me tell you, my friends, a 17-year relationship with another person that has to talk to and live with you is a lot harder to maintain than one with a dog. We've had our ups and downs, and as you all know, a relationship isn't all sunshine and rainbows. They can be a lot of work. You get out what you put in when it comes to relationships, and talking to a therapist can be a fantastic way to put in some work. They can help you work through your issues, learn to communicate better, and even just provide you with an ear to bend when you need it. I've talked to my therapist about my relationships, especially when it came to my stand-up comedy career and how much I was away from home, and they helped me work on ways to keep my relationship strong even when I was out on the road. It turned out our relationship was actually better when I was out on the road, but that's a story for another day. And I know, right? Therapy. Who has the time these days? BetterHelp hears you, and they're making it easy. Fill out a quick form online, and they'll match you up with a therapist that suits your needs and that'll work around your schedule. You pick the meet times, and you can get your therapy fix from anywhere, over video, phone, or just chat. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit BetterHelp.com/RememberTheGame today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/RememberTheGame. Okay, joining me via the blank phone this week to talk Dead Space. And let me just say, before I introduce my guest or anything, holy fuck am I excited for this episode. It's Dead Space. Dead Space is the best. Joining me is someone else who thinks Dead Space is awesome, and that's my man Patrick, returning to the show. Patrick, what's up? And do you think Dead Space is awesome?
I think Dead Space is awesome.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
fuck yeah, you do. Dude, let me just ask you, before we get into, and like, we are going to spoil the fuck out of this game. We talked about this off air. Admittedly, I don't think the story of this game is that great anyways, but we are going to talk spoilers. So if you've never played it, you can beat it in like 2 or 3 days as long as you've got the nerves to sit through it. So I recommend go play it and then come back. Before we get into anything, I was just thinking about this off air, dude, before we started. You're my go-to guest for Game Boy games. You're the Game Boy guy. You love the Game Boy.
The Game Boy guy.
But you've also been my guest for Resident Evil 4. You were my guest for Silent Hill 3. Now Dead Space. And so it's just, I find it so polarized because, like, you're the guy I call when I talk scary games, but then you're also the guy I call when I talk Game Boy games, which is like the least scary console ever created. So
Yeah.
what?
I'm happy to be in this lane.
Yeah. What's the deal? Like, do you use the Game Boy to offset the scary games? Like, what? Why do you like scary games?
I think I'm just a 35-year-old man that's caught between like not letting go of his childhood and, you know, all the benefits of enjoying scary things as an adult.
All right. I can get up. I never put that one and one together. And then literally as I was coming up the stairs to sit down to call you to record this, I was like, fuck it. Like, the Game Boy might be the most innocent video game console of all time.
Yeah.
And then,
Well, you know, like we've talked about where this intersection happens of like being a child playing a Game Boy and then getting introduced to Doom on the computer.
Yeah.
And like Doom sets the path for all of the other things that I end up loving, music and movies and science fiction and horror. And that's where my life was tainted by that game.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Doom. Fuck me. So then, like, is there a scary game on the Game Boy? I would argue
somebody did make a fan RPG. Like there are like game developers that are making ROMs for the Game Boy that you can put on, like if you've got Easy Flash or a Mega Drive or something, and then you can also buy cartridges from them. And there was somebody that did make like a horror RPG that was like pretty fun. I can't remember the name of it now though.
That's right. You know what I was thinking? The scariest game on the Game Boy is Donkey Kong Land, because that game shouldn't be on the Game Boy.
There's an Aliens game. I think Aliens 3 is on the Game Boy.
Really? Fuck.
It's terrible, but it's not scary. But it's
dude,
on there.
I wonder. Sorry, everybody. We are going to talk Dead Space, but like, I wonder what the Game Boy's batting average is. Like, if you were to just randomly pick 10 Game Boy games, like you took every Game Boy game ever made, put the cartridges face down, and you just picked 10. How many are good, do you think? And I love the Game Boy, but like, there's a lot of not good on the Game Boy.
There is a lot of not good. I agree.
That makes the good better though. Anyway, well, the next, you know what? I feel like the last couple times you've been on the show, it's been scary stuff. So the next time you're here, we'll talk Game Boy game. We'll do something nice. Today we're talking Dead
Aliens
Space.
3.
What's that?
Aliens 3.
Yeah, we'll do Aliens 3.
We'll do the scary Game Boy game, and we'll fully realize this partnership.
You know what's scary at Game Boy games is when the fucking battery light is flashing.
That's right.
And you don't have any more, and you're in the backseat of your car on like a long drive. That's what makes a Game Boy scary, is when you thought you're going to have to talk to your parents because your Game Boy is dead. We're talking Dead Space. We're not talking Game Boy today. We're talking Dead Space. I got to say, dude, I played this game about a year after it came out, And this is one of the games that I've been getting asked to cover on the show for quite a while now. And I just want to make sure everybody knows, like, I've played it. Like, the only reason we haven't covered it on the show is because for the first couple years, I was reluctant to do PS3, Xbox 360 era games. And then once we did start covering PS3, Xbox 360 era games, I was like, well, I need to do a replay of this before I could talk about it because I only ever played it once. And the lasting memory, the lasting impression I had from this game was that it was awesome. And I'm so happy to say that sitting down and playing it for the first time in probably 12 or 13 years, those memories are accurate. This game fucking slaps. And you were saying you only finished it like an hour ago.
Yeah. I powered through it to be able to keep up.
I love
for
that.
Today.
Thank you for your dedication.
I mean, I had played this. Yeah, same thing. Like when it first came out. Like I would argue, like in my opinion, this is the greatest game on the Xbox 360. I'd stand by that.
Boy,
I can't think of a game that is like this good from that console.
That's gonna fucking. There are people. You know what?
Good. Yeah.
There's gonna be people arguing, but I don't think anyone's gonna be like, "That's insane." Like,
show me. I would love. I'd love to be proven wrong. I would love to
Sure.
hear somebody's opinion, but show me a game that is the first game in its series that takes a formula and then revolutionizes on everything, like innovates everything that was already existing. Because you can argue that this is Resident Evil 4 in space.
Yeah.
But everything they did, they innovated on all of the things that were done, and it makes it so fantastic. It nails the atmosphere, everything.
I just, for what it's worth, like, you've got me thinking about like what my favorite fucking 360 game is. Fuck, dude, the Xbox 360 was such a beast. I don't know if I can. I mean,
yeah, great game.
Mine might be BioShock, but this is up there. I agree. Like, that's a great point, and that's what I was going to say.
I would argue, BioShock would be a close.
Yeah.
BioShock does something very similar where you're like, a game that has almost no expectations because it just almost comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it hits you with like a fantastic story, great atmosphere, great gameplay, and just kind of does a whole bunch of new innovative things.
Totally. And I don't think saying that Dead Space is the best game on the 3, people might argue, but no one, if you don't think that's a legitimate, like a fair take, you've never played Dead Space. It is a lock for top 10. It is so good. And dude, you brought up a great comparison, and that's where I wanted to start. Is like, everyone knows I'm a pussy who struggles with scary things, and I'm slowly getting better at enjoying scary things. But the first survival horror game, if you want to call it that I ever played was Resident Evil 4. And to this day, you and I did the episode of Remember the Game about Resident Evil 4 is to this day one of my absolute favorite video games ever. I adore that game. That was what got me to play Dead Space. Was that I had just got a 360. I was just getting back into gaming. I'd finished like Gears of War and Halo 3 and stuff like that. And I was like, I need something new to play. And this game was getting great reviews. And it looks, obviously it's not Resident Evil, but it's that third person over the shoulder combat that I love. You can absolutely see the influence of a game like Resident Evil 4 on it, which I think is like the highest of praise. And I'll even go one step further to say that, well, I think I like Resident Evil 4 better. I would argue Dead Space is a better game.
Resident Evil 4 has a better story. Dead Space has better atmosphere.
Oh, dude, and like, fuck me, dude. This game, you were just talking about, I played through this entire game on stream. And by the way, I'm uploading all those play videos to YouTube. So if you're interested, youtube.com/rememberthegame, you should be able to find my complete playthrough of Dead Space over there. I played through this on stream, and it really does take away from some of the what's the word I'm looking for? Horror, I guess, the scariness. I don't know the proper like it, because you got people to talk to and stuff like that. But either way, dude, when you're wearing headphones and you're trying to play, like, it's not a matter of if this game will scare you, it's a matter of how many times. And it does kind of rely on jump scares, but I think it does them in a really good way. Like, it's the way that you can hear you walk into a room and you can hear something in your headphones and you're like, fuck me, like there's something in the vents or there's something in the next room. And it's, the jump scare is coming, but then it still gets you.
You can't talk about this game without mentioning the sound design of this game. Like it's almost perfect.
Yeah,
that's like that's so nice to see in a game where, like, in a movie they say sound design is 50% of your experience. And in video games, it's always been, especially in retro gaming, sound design has been one of the things that it's kind of secondary, right? It's like, what's the first thing to go when there's low memory on a cartridge? Is we see that in a lot of games between Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis ports, is cutting sound design and sound quality. And having a game that really, like, above all else, it's frightening to look at some of these monsters, but the sheer terror of the sound of some of these things, and not only just the sound of things, but the lack of sound of things, moving into those, like, anti-gravity or going into the oxygen deprived environments, and it's just completely quiet. And then having, like, the door open up and the sound blast hits you, and you're just terrified trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking. A lot of people commented on that when they were watching me play it too. Like, when you go into those outdoor, I guess, out of the ship, or those anywhere where the sound goes like really. Like,
out in space, basically.
Dude, and then you take damage, and you're like, what the fuck is hitting me? And then you turn around and look, and there's one of those creatures right behind you that you normally hear screaming, but you can't hear, like, what's that saying? They can't hear you scream in space or whatever. It is terrifying. And I agree, dude. By the 360 era, I wasn't, like, when I play NES and Super Nintendo games a lot of the time now, I'll mute them and, like, listen to a podcast or, like, put a football game on or something like that. By the 360 era and the PS3, I wasn't doing that quite as often. But even so, I agree, dude. I will argue, and I haven't played everything, but I'll argue the two games I've played with maybe the best sound effects like this were Dead Space and Hellblade. Have you played Hellblade?
Which one was Hellblade?
It's a modern game, like Xbox One. Hellblade's Senua's Sacrifice.
No, I don't. Oh, yes. Yeah, I had played that game.
And where
there's the constant, like, speaking and talking going on, like, in the character's mind. And stuff,
yeah, you can hear the voices in her head, like, telling her she's going to die and stuff. It's fucking insane.
And this game has that, too. This game has a lot of that, the whispering of, like, Isaac's name, just very kind of hidden underneath some of the mechanical sounds and stuff.
Totally. And you know what's wild? And to me, one of the things that makes Dead Space so incredible is that the sound, like you said, is perfect. It's a 10. It's perfect.
It nails the atmosphere. It really ramps up everything you're seeing visually.
Yeah.
Because, something about Dead Space, like, if I had one complaint, is you start to see a lot of the same stuff. But, I mean, given that it's a ship and it's a contained environment, and almost military-like in its environment. But the sound of stuff, just the sound of gears turning and just engines and things always going. And then as, like, stuff gets rattled or things fall, the false jump scares where something doesn't happen but something falls. And then just the sounds of the creatures, and something this game does so great. It's just the sound of the monsters where what's coming up, or based on the sound. Each individual thing you can you start to hear. You don't necessarily see it, but you go, okay, I know I've got to deal with these particular enemies. Like later on when those, like, the exploders, those dudes with the big
I hate those
big arm that big stack, and you hear that screech, and you're like, okay, I don't know how many I have to deal with, but I know that they're going to be running for me.
It's like those little fucking pug looking things with the 3 tentacles that come out of them.
Those are awful. Yeah,
I fucking hate them, but you know that you're right. They all have these distinct sounds, and it's not just the sounds that they make, but, like, you'll be walking and then fucking you never have to find out what it is, but, like, the sound that, like, a crowbar or, like, a pipe that fell off a shelf would make.
Yeah.
And you hear that, and it's in, like, the right side of your your headphones. So you whip around and there's nothing there, and you're like, fuck me. Like, I know something's about to come out and try to kill me. Like, God damn it.
Yeah.
And what I was gonna say is, like, to me, what's so spectacular is that the sound in this game is so good. And like, when people were watching the streams and stuff, and maybe it's because you're not wearing headphones, maybe it's not the same, but, like, everyone was talking about how great it looks, and the physics engine, and the enemies, the way that you can shoot them and dissect them.
The dismemberment system is fantastic.
Yeah, like that. All of that stuff is so good that, like, it to me, it speaks to just what a complete package this game is. That the sound design is impeccable, and it's almost like, I would argue, it's almost third on the depth chart of great things after the way it looks and the way it plays. Right?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't mean that is nothing but, like, the highest of praise. Like, because let me just say, dude, like, I'll go to the graphics next, and we'll get into the story and everything, but, like, I was playing it on the Series X, but it was the Xbox 360 version on Game Pass on the Series X. So maybe they up-resed it a little bit, but looking at it now, I'm like, I'm super pumped for Dead Space remake, and I can't wait to play it. But I'm also looking at this now like it doesn't need a remake.
Still, no.
Like-
Like I played it on Steam, and I mean it's an old game, so my computer where it's at now can handle this at top spec, and it looks fantastic. Like there was a few character models that I'm like, okay, this looks dated, some hair animation and stuff, but
Yeah.
the actual gameplay, you don't even care about that stuff because
No.
it's so good.
It's so good.
It's so like visceral, and just the depiction of like body horror is just like it's such a great genre of horror, and like just something that like anything the greatest movie of all time is John Carpenter's The Thing, and anything that has that same feeling is immediately great. Just that like the idea of things like exploding out of people's bodies or bodies becoming those monsters and mutating into these things, it's so phenomenal.
It's fucking
And
terrifying.
it's done so well, and the idea of like you have to dismember them. There is no just shooting it in the head, like
Yeah.
Resident Evil. We're talking like blast it in the head. That's going to get rid of it. And then Resident Evil 4 throws that on its head by having things come out of their head, and now it's a whole new enemy. And this is like, no, that won't work anymore. You've got to cut off all the limbs.
Yeah.
And not only that, but you can take those limbs now and you can shoot them back at the enemies with telekinesis.
Yeah.
And, like it just keeps adding layers of like, yeah, we thought of one great thing, and now we just made it even better with this other thing that we innovated on.
Totally. I'll go as far as to say, I mean, I'm not like the fucking know all end all of video games. But like, I don't know if I've ever, at least up to Dead Space. I remember like one of my lasting impressions of this game was like, I don't think I've ever played a game where I shoot the enemy matters so much, because like we're all, like you said, in most video games, you're just trained to go for the headshot, right? And in this one, like if you only go for headshots, you will die. Like it expects you to fucking pick these enemies
you
apart.
have to dismember.
Yeah. And what's
And
rad,
that's what's so awesome is like there is no weapon. Like it's not a gun you're shooting. It's like a rivet gun, or
Yeah.
it's engineering tools. It's stuff designed to fix things that he's using in the heat of the moment to dismember these monsters.
Yeah.
It's such an awesome idea.
and the way that they fucking designed these monsters, where like if you shoot their arms off, they can keep walking toward you. If you shoot their legs off, they'll use their arms to pull themselves toward you. You remove the head, there's a headless fucking alien crawling around. Like the anime, they look so like, I know it's the same half a dozen animations, but they don't look it like, they look so real. It's fucking, It's so easy to tell where you shot them. Like, and I always go for the legs first, because I'm like, then they
I
have
saw
to
that
crawl.
when I was watching your stream. I saw that you were a leg guy. And
Always.
I'm generally
I am a leg
an
man.
up-top guy.
No question.
Yeah.
I am a leg man, because if you take out the legs, now I got time to fucking pick you apart while you're crawling toward me.
absolutely.
What
Yeah.
you don't go for the legs?
I see. I have a different strategy than you, and I didn't know when to bring this up, but what I love about this game is they offer you so many different weapons, but
Yeah.
you don't have to use any of them. So I did my entire game with just the line gun, the plasma gun,
The plasma
and
cutter,
the flamethrower. The
Okay.
plasma cutter and the flamethrower. Those are the three weapons I go through the whole game with. And so my strategy is I carry the line gun like a shotgun, and I shoot for the top half of the enemy first.
Okay.
And I do that as like a kind of damage control. And then I will switch to the plasma cutter, and I'll start picking apart that way. And that's how I go through the game.
And let me, that's interesting. And let me just point out, is there, and people were saying it the whole stream, and you're all right, is there a better starting weapon in the history of video games than the plasma cutter from Dead Space? It is
It's so
so good. And like most video games, like you start out, like most shooters, you start out with like a pistol or whatever, and then like you can't wait to get better weapons and get rid of it. But like, is there anyone out there that doesn't use the plasma cutter the whole game? That thing is so precise and so tight, and then you can level it up, and then the most brilliant second gun in the game for my money is just the way the plasma cutter can turn from shooting horizontally to vertically.
Yeah.
And it's so perfect for just dissecting enemies, and it's just, I carry other weapons, but I don't really care about them. I use them when I need them, but like I only really use them when I run out of ammo in the plasma cutter.
Yeah,
I
use
love
plasma
that weapon.
cutter, and then just the bigger, better version of the plasma cutter, and then the flamethrower just to take care of certain enemy types.
Those dude, I like the Ripper because I love the idea that you're just literally
It's super fun.
Yeah, like if you've never played the game, everybody, the Ripper is literally like a fucking handsaw like a circular saw.
Telekinetic hand saw.
But the blade like shoots like 5 feet out in front of you. It just floats there, and it's awesome in
It's
concept, but it is a real pain in the ass to use because the enemies can like walk past it and get between you. The plasma, like, so let's get into the gameplay because that's the point of the game is the gameplay. Yeah, the plasma cutter slaps. I fucking love that goddamn thing, and I guess I'm curious what you think. My only minor criticism of this game is that in the last, so I think it's 12 chapters, and I would argue the last 25% of the game, I feel it becomes a little bit less about trying to be scary and a little bit just action shooter. And if I have any complaint about it, it's not even that it's bad. I still really like it. But I was like, it does feel like toward the end of the game, it just turns into wave after wave of enemy. And
I definitely agree with that. There's like a particular part where like this is the last kind of curveball they throw at you with the enemies. Because something that the game does great is you're introduced to a certain group of enemies and you see them over and over and you start to develop a strategy and you're like, okay, these weapons work great with this and the way I'm playing is working out. And you start getting comfortable and then they start introducing different enemies.
Yeah.
And they start throwing these different enemies at you. And then once you get comfortable with all of these enemies, then they start creating harder versions of those enemies.
Yeah. Like they look like they're burnt or something. Like like the dark colored versions of them. And they're like much harder to deal with. And you're like in a panic trying to fire on these things, and it takes so much ammo, and it can really chew through your ammo. Dude. And then and then they start running at you like super fast.
Yeah,
I can't remember
Yeah, exactly. Then so then they start doing like the guys they've mutated with the stasis modules, and now they move way faster.
That's what it was.
Have the same time to think.
There was like a storyline explanation for it. I couldn't remember why, but that's what it was. They like the stasis fucked up their bodies or something. So that's even harder. Like to me, that's maybe the most terrifying part of the game, outside of when you're in space and it's quiet, is when you hear the noise that an enemy is coming, and you're used to the enemies that like when they see you, they start running at you, but you got time to take them down. And then toward the end of the game, the last few chapters, you turn around and those fast moving things are like on you. So you need to be quick with either a weapon or your stasis to like freeze them. And it adds so much more tension. And you're right. It does such a Dead Space is not the first video game to start out kind of simple and then gradually, like every video game does that. But like the way that this game does it without ever changing what the game is brilliant. Like there's not 300 different kinds of enemies. Like I would bet there's a dozen different enemy types. It's just that then like you said, they mutate those enemy types, or they throw them at you in different scenarios. Or you have to come up with different strategies to take them out, and it's just
different combinations of a few of them. Together.
Or you're fighting them in different areas where maybe there's other environmental, like those fucking fans that if you step on them, they just shoot you up into to the ceiling and kill you. Which mistake you only make once. Oh my god, dude! I do think it gets a little bit shooty at the end. But the gameplay is so fun that it's not the end of the world. It's not like,
and that's like, I think it's also because that's where the majority of the story kind of compacts. Like there isn't a whole lot going on. They're hinting at a few things here and there, but it's that last chunk where they're like, okay, now we're presenting you with like everything that's going to unfold.
Yeah.
Everything's been building up to this last kind of thing. And then it just becomes hope you've learned how to deal with all of these enemies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you I feel like this would be the type of game that if you put it down for 6 months, like if you were 2/3 of the way through and then walked away for 6 months and then came back, you might be fucked. Because you need to be in shape to get through the end of the game. Like you need to know your shit, know how your weapons work, you got to be on the ball. I agree with that. I wanted to ask you, I'm not going to say that the story is bad because I like the concept of like they went to this ship and then looks like shit hit the fan on this ship. Then you're trying to figure out what happened. And then there's the whole marker thing. And then again, spoilers, we're talking about them. It turns out that the marker was like an artifact they found on Earth and then they manufactured it and then they brought it up here and blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to say the story is bad, but I will go as far as to say compared to the gameplay, the audio,
Yeah.
the graphics. I think the story leaves a little something to be desired.
I think they do a better job with it in Dead Space 2 than they did in this one.
Okay.
I'm
We
not a
won't,
big
for the
fan
record, to
of,
everybody, we won't spoil Dead Space 2.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
worry.
yeah, yeah. I'm not a huge fan of like the like religious cult trope kind of thing.
No, me neither.
And especially in this, like, so they present it like they're, it's this religious icon that was found on this planet, and then spoiling the story, you find out it was created on Earth and brought up to this planet, and they realized what it did. So they're like, well, we're gonna hide it and take it away, and the whole thing was just this sabotage mission, basically to get rid of this icon.
Yeah, it's not. You know what's cool about this game is that, like, to me, a game like that, like, I don't know if it's necessarily a fair comparison to compare Dead Space to, say, Silent Hill, because they're very different games, but or even like Resident Evil 4, like whatever, it doesn't matter. I just like if the gameplay, like I'll be like, I don't think the gameplay of Silent Hill is anything to write home about. It's the atmosphere and the story, and the gameplay is just what you have to use to tell the story. And to me, what makes this game so great is that, like, I'm a story guy. I like a good story in my video games. And this game is so much fun and so tense to play that, like, I'm playing it and the story's happening and the story's unfolding, and I'm like, I'm going to pay attention to it because I want to experience the whole thing. But I'm like, I don't really care that the story's not hooking me that much. The whole storyline that, like, his wife is there, and is his wife? I think it's his wife, Nicole or whatever her name was.
Yeah.
His partner anyway is clearly his love interest. And you're like trying to find her, and like I already knew what was going on with her because that was something I remembered from the first time. But even then, I'm like, I don't like. To me, like while I'm playing it, I'm like, I just want to get the fuck off this ship. Like that anything else is happening is fine. I just want to get the fuck off this ship. And that's why I'm playing it,
There's a really interesting, like a really great mechanic of the game is the way the story is told is there are no cutscenes. So like Resident Evil 4, the story is told through these big animated cutscenes, which, you really want to pay attention to, and they really add to a lot of the atmosphere of the game. Whereas this game, everything is told through, like, there's no heads-up display, there's no anything. It's very minimal, which really lends to the atmosphere and really getting you into the game. And it's the idea of, like, all the communication, all the stories told through these little video screen windows that pop up over the character's shoulders.
Yeah.
And you can keep playing and interacting and doing stuff while that's happening.
Yeah.
Is fantastic. And it really, like, you really feel like the character. And like something we've talked about this before in other episodes where games have done the same thing, where they've given the character a name and you get a brief glimpse of his face in the beginning, but he doesn't say anything through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And what that allows you to do is it allows you to become that character, because now you're experiencing everything through Isaac. You're seeing everything there's nothing to take you out. There's never any other cutscene or anything else that doesn't make you feel like you're in this character's head, where he's never saying anything, and they're just presenting it in a way that it never takes you out of that.
Totally.
It's so good.
And that's a difficult thing to do with a third-person video game. Like, first person, it's a little easier because it is through your eyes. Third person, you're looking at the character you're controlling the whole time. And you're like, well, I know that's not me. But you're right.
Yeah.
They do a great... And we'll get into a little bit into the remake that's coming up at the end of the episode. But I did quickly just want to say, I love that he doesn't talk at all. And they have given him a voice in the remake, like he is going to talk.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm still super fucking stoked for that remake, but I'm a little bit hesitant about that decision. Because I like the fact that he doesn't talk. And I wanted to go back to something you brought up that I had on my notes here to talk about. The HUD in this game is
phenomenal.
It is literally perfect. Literally perfect. You see his giant green health bar on the back of his suit. It's super easy to tell how much health you've got left. It never gets in the way. Doesn't seem out of place because it's the same color as those slits in his mask. So it just looks so natural. And then to have the stasis meter there right beside it, it is just, God, I wish more video. I mean, in more video games in 2022, it's not exactly a game-changing thing to have no HUD. In 2008, this was a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
And it is
not only that,
flawless.
but the inventory, the mapping, everything. The game never pauses. So even when you go into these things, it's just it's like a projected screen off of the front of the suit that he's looking at, and you're looking at it as him looking at it over the shoulder, which is like when you're looking through the inventory through your ammo and stuff, you see the character's head move as you're selecting things, as if he was physically looking at them, doing some kind of AI enhanced kind of HUD that it's following his eye movement looking at the screen.
Yeah, it's dude, and
but
like
the game's not paused while you're doing that. Things are still going on around you.
And that's like,
which is very terrifying when you need to
there
throw
are
on
moments,
a stasis pack or something.
There are moments where that frustrated the fuck out of me because I was like trying to get a hold, because you can quick heal, like on the Xbox controller, you hit the X button and you will use one of your health kits to heal yourself. But like, yeah, if you want to go into your inventory and be like, how many health kits do I have left? Do I have any stasis? Like what?
Yeah.
Like you
cannot
pause.
You can't quick load air canisters if you need them. You can't quick load stasis if you need to recharge it.
You can't.
Other than the wall mounted units that you use, if you're using them in between those, you have to stop what you're doing, go into the screen and quickly select it.
Yeah.
And there are times where it's a panic decision where you're trying to frantically grab a stasis pack while an enemy's, on the ground coming out of stasis.
Yeah. There was a couple of moments where I would come across a store and I would try desperately to use it because I'm like, I am out of health. I need some fucking health. And I'm trying super fast to go in and buy one, but I can hear the enemies coming up behind me. And like, it's at times it pissed me off that the enemies never fucking stopped because I was like, just let me catch my breath. But like, I also, it makes the game so much better. You literally, the only time you have to catch your breath and stop in this game is after you've killed all the enemies. And even then, you never know. Like, fuck, I was playing it just last night and I was drinking a glass of whiskey while I was playing. And there was one point where I thought I was done. I picked up my whiskey and right as it got to my lips, suddenly a fucking enemy dropped out of a vent. And I was like, shit! And I'm trying to put my whiskey down. And then I go to shoot it, but my gun's out of ammo. So I'm trying to reload and run away. And fuck, this game never lets you breathe. And it's perfect. It is so intense. Oh my God, I can't not just blow smoke up this game's ass. I don't think there's anything about it I don't like.
Everything feels like it was done with a purpose. Nothing was done like, okay, well, let's just add that. It was like everything was done to make it a specific feeling in a specific way. And they didn't just go, well, this is what other games do.
Yeah.
It's only a third-person shooter because they couldn't invent another style of game for it to be, right?
Sure.
They're like, we'll make it a third-person shooter, but everything about the third-person shooter is something that hasn't been done. They just keep creating this whole in-game universe of things unique to this game, and it's so phenomenal.
Oh, it's outstanding. I did think of one thing I don't like about this game. Maybe I don't want to make it sound like it was a gripe of mine to be like, oh, it turns into a lot of shooting at the end, because I still think it's really fun. The one thing I hate about this game are the couple instances where you have to work the fucking like big gun where you sit in the chair.
The gun, that's my least favorite thing. That's the only thing I
hate that shit in every video game. That's why I don't like Star Fox, because I just don't enjoy those types of games.
I don't like it specifically in this game because it doesn't feel like it fits.
It doesn't at all.
This game does so much right when it comes to flipping the script on the way things have to be. So like the tentacle monster is a perfect example of like you play the whole game standing up, and now you've got a creature that you have to shoot from the ground as it's pulling you.
And that's hard.
It's presented a whole different way. Same thing with the ending boss when you're flipped upside down and you're trying to aim in a way that you've never done before. But when it comes to the guns, it's so frustrating because it never feels like anything moves fast enough. Like when I was playing this on the computer on Steam, and I was playing with a controller. But when it came to those turret parts, I would crank up the DPI on my mouse, and I would just play with the mouse so that I could move quicker and get through those parts. Because something I remembered from the first time I played it on the 360 was those parts being very frustrating.
They're brutal. And this is gonna sound dumb, and I know some people are going to make fun of me for this, but I know you're going to understand what I'm saying. When it makes me, because there's two instances where you have to sit down and use the stupid, if you don't know what we're talking about, it's like, I don't know, like every other fucking game does it, where you sit down at like the fucking controls of like a Gatling gun and you move the crosshairs and have to shoot. In this case, you're shooting stuff that's coming toward the ship you're on to try to stop it from, destroying the ship. It's going to sound stupid, but it made me feel like I was playing a video game. Like the game is so engrossing, and it almost makes you feel like you're up there on the like almost like a movie at times. And now I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like this is Star Fox. You know what I mean? Like this is now I'm just playing a video game.
This is Star Wars. I'm X-wing shooting asteroids.
Yeah,
Like,
and you're right, dude. Not only like you already mentioned stuff like looking at the map, looking at your inventory, using the store, and how all of those things feel so seamlessly just interwoven with playing the game. It never stops. Even the mini games, like when you come across the target, the shooting gallery,
the shooting range,
or the basketball thing,
the gravity basketball. Yeah.
Even those don't feel completely out of place. They still feel seamlessly intertwined.
It feels like
with the game.
as a reason to be on the ship. You know,
Yeah.
people were there to enjoy stuff. You know, if they're living on it, it makes sense to be recreational things like that.
Totally. And I love that, like, if you go into, like, when you go into that fucking zero gravity basketball, there's enemies in there. And you're like, what the fuck? This is supposed to be the mini game. This is supposed to be where I catch my breath. Even those are done in a way where, like, they really just, they're like, you're gonna come into our game, you're gonna close your door, and you are in our game. And then for some reason, just those, I'm so glad the final boss wasn't having to shoot something with the fucking on rails, fucking in chair, like, because it just is so out of place. And the fact that neither one is optional pisses me off too.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had to bitch about something. Like, otherwise you have to give it a perfect 10, and I can't do that. But I don't know if I could think of anything else I don't like. I didn't like those, and
they do a good job of making you not like some of the characters.
Oh, dude, I didn't trust Hammond that whole game.
For a purpose. They definitely lead you down one path, and you know, it ends up being another, and they make you really hate certain characters. And I think I popped into your stream and you mentioned hating the same character that I was, because when I looked at where you were at, we were at almost like, you were 20 minutes ahead of me,
right?
And you were mentioning hating I think it's Hammond.
I hate that guy.
Yeah,
I was like, all he does is barks orders at you, and I don't trust him. Fucking guy.
Yeah.
And then it turns out he was fine. It was fucking what's her name was the bad the whole time.
Kendra. Yeah. Kendra was leading astray the whole time.
Fucking assholes, man. I don't trust anybody on that ship, but she seemed like the one. And like, to their credit, maybe some people thought that twist was going to be obvious, that she was the bad guy, but I thought they did a phenomenal job. I thought Hammond being a bad guy was maybe a little bit too obvious, but and even after playing it once, I did not remember that it turned out she would fuck you.
I had forgotten the twist, so to say, of it too.
Ugh.
I definitely was thinking like, Hammond's got to be the bad guy. Like, he's doing a lot of shit that is bad guy shit.
Yeah, like Isaac and what's her name? I can't remember her name. Kendra. We're both like, yo, I mean, Isaac doesn't say anything, but like, I think the general consensus is like, I don't know, we should be going in there. We should get the fuck out of here. And Hammond's like, no, we're going in. It's our mission.
Here's something I had a bit of a complaint with the story is, you're going along doing this stuff, and then all of a sudden, like, you're hearing the doctor, the scientist who's been there the whole time, who's creating these monsters, who's clearly like insane.
Yeah.
And then you meet this other guy who starts telling you like, yeah, we got to get the marker, we gotta put it in place, and you're just like, okay, I guess I'm doing what this guy says. And Kendra's like, be careful, he might be crazy. And I don't understand really when the switch happened, where I'm like, why am I doing what this guy said all of a sudden? Like, it seems counterproductive to what I was supposed to be doing.
That's fair.
That becomes like the MacGuffin for the whole twist of the story.
Yeah. And that, like, to me just goes back to, like, I guess you can call it a criticism. It's not a big criticism to me because I don't particularly care, but like, I don't think the story is anything to write home about. Like, I know it is oversimplifying game development, but I always look at game like when they develop a game, I look at it as like they're creating a character and they have 100 skill points to, spread out however they want. And like,
storytelling, which is kind of forgotten.
Yeah, I feel like this game
points.
maxed out everything else, and they were like, we only have 4 points left for story. And they're like, oh, whatever, good enough. Like, not that it matters. The game is still so goddamn much fun. There was something else I wanted to bring up, and now I don't remember what it was.
What is your least favorite enemy to fight, and what is the scariest one?
Okay, that's a good question. But my least favorite enemy to fight is probably. The most annoying are anything really little. But the one I probably hate the most are those fucking big, creepy looking, I called them the fat guys. Those giant guys that when you blew them up, they exploded and little guys came out. I fucking hated them. What about you? Yeah. I hated them. Let me just say, I don't hate them because they're bad design. They're just like
no.
They were the ones
I hate the swarmers, like those little little things that jump on you because they eat so much health. But
Yeah.
that's why the flamethrower is the perfect weapon
Yeah.
to carry because it takes care of those.
Yeah.
The flamethrower is also very good for the brute, the really large character, because if you hit him with stasis and then you take him down with a line gun, the missile or the kind of bomb thing,
Yeah.
and then when he's down, you burn him with the flamethrower. It basically kills him in one cycle. Like you can get through him. I have no problem with the brutes with those
Oh, wow.
two weapons.
I will say the
no
brutes.
trouble at all.
The brutes are sick. That fucking one where maybe my favorite part of the whole playthrough was when you're in the bottom of the like engine room or whatever, and you find Hammond, and he's on the other side of the glass, and then that brute comes out and kills him.
Yeah.
I was standing on the other side of the glass laughing at Hammond. I was like, "That's what you get," because and then all of a sudden the brute breaks this fucking what seems to be unbreakable glass, and I have to fight him in the engine room. It was fucking sick. It's so tense. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. We just phones fucking hate us. Maybe it's the aliens trying to stop us from talking shit about them. We were talking about the scariest enemies, and I have one in mind that fucking freaks me out every time I see it. But I'll ask, what's the one that scares you?
So I think the scariest enemy in the game is the Divider. It's that really tall, thin character with he's the torn lab coat. He shows up later in the game. He's kind of like a Slender Man type character. He's really long and lanky. Yeah. And you shoot him and he bursts into all the little multiple like thing segments, or it's like the head with the tentacles and the arm and stuff.
Oh.
But just the sound of that character is so frightening. It's like a big long whale sound. It's like it's haunting. And it's so scary. And then you see them and they're just terrifying. And then they burst into arguably what's like the hardest. I hate when you like you mentioned the big fat characters where they burst out with all the swarmers. We've got something extra to deal with on top of the character.
Yeah, it's like
that guy. It's like the hardest swarm of things to deal with afterwards.
Yeah, especially because like the idea that he's made up of all these little things.
Yeah,
it's fucking gross. I hate them terrifying. Too. The one that creeps me out the most is, and you don't fight too many of them. They're like the giant bat moth things that like eat bodies. Yeah. Like they find bodies laying around and eat them. And there's one particular point right near the end of the game where you walk into a room, you have to go find a battery, and you walk into a room and there's just one of them on a window, like looking at you.
Yeah.
And it's oh fuck. I don't like
those
moths.
Those terrified me so much where I would go around every time I've played Dead Space. I've done the same thing. Anytime there's a body lying around, I'll just go and stomp all its legs and arms off so that if one of those things takes it over, there hopefully is nothing to like. I've done it very successfully in a few rooms where I feel like one of those things just flies around doing nothing because I've killed all the body. I've crushed them. Like if you just break their legs, they'll come back as just arms dragging.
Yeah.
But if you get rid of all the appendages, there's nothing for it to come back with.
Yeah.
And so they just fly around. You can just shoot them. I hate those so much. So I'm just like every single body, I'm using extra ammo to destroy the bodies, or I'm stepping on every single body just to be like, nothing's coming back alive.
Yeah, they creep me the fuck out, man. I don't like moths. Like moths creep me out in real life. And like the idea that these things look like giant alien moths that fucking eat people, I'm like, no, yeah, but the enemy design is so good. And you know what else I love about this game is the lack of boss fights. Because I hate boss fights. I have talked about this on this show a million times. 4 out of 5 boss fights suck, and I won't move off that point. They're not fun. They're just bullet sponges, and they suck, and they're not inventive. Or when they do try to get inventive, then you have to solve some stupid puzzle to kill them, and I hate that fucking too. I don't particularly like the boss fight where you're fighting what looks like a giant anus with hemorrhoids, and I don't know how else to describe it. That is what it looks like.
The Leviathan, the first one?
Yeah, and you've got to whip the gas canisters into it and shoot it and stuff.
Yeah.
And you fight it in zero gravity. I don't love that boss fight, but it's okay. I will say I actually don't hate the final boss because the final boss is so easy. And I liked that. I was like,
it's clearly laid out where you're like, I don't have to figure out what to do here. Like, just shoot the glowing orange.
Yeah,
thing.
it's got giant glowing yellow.
Just do that until it's dead.
Yeah, and it's not that hard to dodge. And I'm like, God bless you. And that's a note for all of you game developers out there. You don't have to throw this fucking 3 billion HP bullet sponge boss at us that we have to fight a dozen times to beat your game. I like it. Listen. Give me an escape sequence over a final boss every time at the end of a game. But if you are going to give me a final boss, like your game, Dead Space, just stressed me the fuck out for 10 hours. So thank you for just giving me a bit of a break. I would argue the only break in this game is the final boss. because it's not that hard. It was nice.
Yeah.
I was able to just catch and I spent like 15 minutes fucking selling everything and loading up on inventory and health packs. And I was like, all right, here we go. I didn't need any of it. It was perfect. Anyway, love it.
And what I think is great, like, so they give you there's only 3 boss fights. But what they do is they have those 2 chapters where you're the hunter, the thing that regenerates, where it's like you have to fight it, but you can't actually you can't actually kill it. You got to do something else to it, and most of the time you end up running away from it. Regenerating, you got to slow it down. Like that thing's terrifying.
Yeah, it is. But I like it. I think it would have taken away so much from this game if it had just been like 12 levels with 12 bosses.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like that you have to backtrack in this game, but it never feels repetitive.
Right.
Like the environments change, everything changes, the enemies. I want to say, I think the enemies are like procedurally generated. I think they're random.
There's a video online you can watch the creator talk about it where they mention that they have multiple spawn paths with all the vents. So if you go a certain way, it'll spawn them at a certain spot. But if you move to a different area, it'll spawn another one from a different area, and it's slightly randomized.
That's brilliant because that gives it so much I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I only ever played it. I played it when I first beat it, and then I played it this past couple of weeks, and it'll probably be another decade before I play it again. Not because I don't like it, but because this game takes a couple of days off your life. This game takes a toll, and like the idea of beating it and then hopping right back in to play it again, I'm like, fuck no. I'm getting off this. I feel like I got off this ship. I'm like, I don't want to fucking go back there. Fuck that. The one other thing I wanted to say is I like that this game doesn't have a lot of stupid puzzles. It's got a couple, but they're not bad. You know, like some games, it's nonstop fucking, I always use the example of like, we have an elephant and a lion statue, and there's an elephant and a lion pillars over there. How do you think we open this door? I like that this game, there's like the odd thing where you need to use your telekinesis to like move stuff around.
It's more like escort missions of like a piece of equipment, and then enemies come at you while you're trying to do that.
Yeah, it's not just like insult your intelligence puzzles.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, man.
Which is surprising because like a space-based game like this on a ship, there would be plenty of room for like connect all the wires to make the thing work.
Totally. I'm glad that it isn't like that though, because again, I feel like that would have pulled you kind of out of it. Like I like that for the most part, you just kind of feel like, like you said, and you brought up a great point. You're kind of just like a normal guy with basic tools, just fighting your way through the ship.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Trying to think. I guess the only other thing I don't like, and I don't even, but at the same time I do, sometimes the zero gravity rooms irritate me with the way they control, but I also feel like that is kind of what would actually happen in a zero gravity room.
Yeah.
So
it is, but it's also like, it's kind of frightening because you get in, and especially if you start jumping from wall to wall, you jump in, you're disoriented about like, where are these enemies coming from? Trying to like position yourself. And I find myself I'll just jump straight ahead to the next thing, and I'll regroup over here and just see if I can get a better look at things. Yeah.
That fucking part where there's like the piece of the asteroid or whatever, and you have to get on it and then put the tracker in it and release all the gravity beams.
Yeah.
I died so many times there, but those fucking those
arms,
like rods that hold it in place.
Yeah.
And I could not figure out where the fuck I was on it. And that's when I was getting mad, but I was also like, again, it's probably realistic. It just fucking pissed me off.
I did the same thing too. I ended up just shooting for the top of the asteroid so I could land and then run and just completely miss those arms. So you just like there, you know exactly where you're coming out to.
And then when you get on the other side, it's those fucking scorpion things.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh god, this fucking game just
and
never.
And you're running out of air during that time.
Yeah. It never lets you catch your breath. Dude, you know what one of the most terrifying points of this game is the part where actually there's like more light than almost anywhere else in the game. And you're going through like a locker room or something. And you're looking for a nav card, but you're on limited air and the room is full of fucking aliens.
Yeah.
And you're like, what you're scared of is that I'm not going to get out of here before I run out of air. Because you can't stop to fight everything or you will run out of air.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I died the first time going through there, and the next time I went back to the store and I bought a bunch of air canisters.
Yeah. And then the fact that there's no quick use of air cans, you've got to bring up your goddamn inventory. Yeah. And while you do it, the aliens are getting you. Oh, my God. I love this game. Boy, I think I don't know if I think we've touched. I mean, I don't know. I like the upgrade system fine, I guess, with the power nodes and upgrading weapons. I would argue the only things that I only really put nodes into the plasma cutter in my suit. But
oh yeah, so I put nothing into anything other than the plasma cutter and the line gun.
yeah,
I put a little bit into like reaching further with telekinesis, but I did no health upgrades.
yeah.
Nothing. I maxed those two guns out and just ripped through everything.
It doesn't. I don't want to say it's an easy game because it's not easy, but like
No.
I don't think it's it's difficult. Clearly, difficulty wasn't their primary focus, and I think that's a good idea because I think if this had I know it's not Dead Soul or Dark Souls, but like if you had made this like super difficult game that was also terrifying and like I think it might be too much. Like if I was equal parts scared and frustrated, I might just be like, I'm not doing this anymore. You know what I mean? Like I think it's smart that it's not super difficult. Because it's the tension is what you're playing it for.
Retackle it from another perspective or kind of change your strategy.
Yeah.
You're given all the same tools to deal with stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just it's just a matter of controlling your freak out when you're trying to like the amount of times where I've thrown stasis at an enemy and completely missed because I was panicking.
That's the one thing I was saying while I was playing is like if I could change one thing about this game, I would add the ability to like do a 180. Like pull back and like hit A or something and just do a 180 turn. Cause like you're running away and they're behind you, but you don't know how close. And sometimes in that half a second you take to stop and turn around, they catch up to you. But again, it all adds to the game.
I don't think it needs that because that's something you're coming from like Resident Evil 4 in a game where you have to stop the shoot. This is a game where you can move backwards and you can shoot towards the enemy as they're chasing.
I just turn and run like a chicken shit. So
right.
I don't have the balls to run backwards and shoot at them. The last thing I wanted to shout out was I love the fucking mechanic of clicking the right stick and Isaac just points his hand at the ground and a nice little beam shows up and shows you where to go.
That's great. Yeah.
I love that. That is.
Yeah. I'll know where I'm going, and I'll still just use it to check, just to make sure.
It is so smooth.
Or it's great that like you enter a room with multiple doors that you can clearly go into. Check where's the one I have to go. Okay, now check all those other ones.
Of course, yeah. Go looking for supply, dude. I love that because is there anything? Oh my god, one of the things I hate the most about being a gamer is never when I come to a crossroads and I'm like, one of these is gonna have an item and one of these is gonna go carry on the story and I'm not gonna be able to come back and I don't know which one is which.
Yeah.
And yes, and even that, the only game I think I've played that has a better, I guess, compass than this is have you ever played Ghost of Tsushima on the PS4 or PS5?
No, I haven't.
It's so good. And it's same thing, like the HUD is like completely gone. And what it does to tell you where to go is the wind blows and you can see which way the grass and stuff is blowing.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's like it's set in like ancient Japan and it's just so smooth. But other than that, like this is because again they want to keep that HUD as clean as possible, and that's perfect. No compass on the screen or anything like that. Just Isaac's suit will tell him.
That makes sense. Like he checks his suit and his suit draws him out an AI.
Exactly.
Like it makes sense. Like it's there for a reason.
So we'll score this, and then I just want to spend like a minute on the remake. First of all, let me just say too, I cannot believe this has got to be the highest scored EA game in the history of Remember the Game. I just cannot. Maybe someone will go back in the stats and be like, "Oh, NHL 94, you like better." Like I'm traditionally very hard on EA, and I love everything. If EA made just these, I would be all about EA. I love this goddamn game.
I forgot this was an EA game.
Yeah, I mean it's like one of their like other studios, but it's still under that EA umbrella, and it's not greasy at all. It's awesome. How the fuck do we score this goddamn thing? There's 12 levels. Yeah. All right. There's 12 chapters.
Well, yeah.
So if you were scoring it out of 12, what would you score Dead Space?
You go like 11.8.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. All right, then I'll say 11.75 just as controversy creates cash.
Yeah. I was so happy that we did this game,
dude.
When you text me and you're like, "You're a Dead Space guy, right?" And I'm like, I hadn't thought about that game in a while. I'm excited to play it again.
I have been getting asked to cover it for years, and I just had to find time to replay it. And then I was like, it's October. I want to do a couple of scary games. It's Dead Space.
This is a great game to be playing in October.
Oh, dude. If you're listening to this, I'm begging you. If you have not played Dead Space, play it. Play it. It is play it before the remake. Just in case the remake fucks up its legacy, you can be like, at least I played the good one. I know a lot of people love Dead Space 2. I remember liking it a lot. I don't remember liking it as much as this one. I don't remember liking Dead Space 3 very much, but I haven't played either of them since the one and only time I played them right after they came out.
I'll probably jump into Dead Space 2 because of this, because I remember that one being fantastic. It bumps up like the uncomfortableness level like way up.
Excellent. I am 1,000,000%. I'm gonna play it at some point for sure. Replay it. Yeah. I'll ask you. Like, have you been paying any attention to the remake? Are you excited?
No, I didn't even realize there was a remake.
Bro,
I had no idea.
They just released the first like gameplay trailer of it. Look it up. Yeah. It comes out in January. It looks dope.
This is this conversation we had, I think, on the last episode on Silent Hill with The Last of Us. It's like, I don't think this game needs it. I don't really. I'm kind of getting tired of like remaking. Like, just give us a new, better Dead Space.
I don't disagree with you. I don't. But like, this was one of those games. It's like Resident Evil 4. Both Dead Space and Resident Evil 4. I have explicitly said they do not need remakes. Then I saw footage of the remakes and I was like, okay, yeah, all right, I'll play that. It does look outstanding, but I agree with you.
I would rather a next gen version of this game. Just make a Dead Space 4.
Totally.
Make it a whole new thing.
Agreed.
And like just really knock it out of the park. You know what you did wrong in Dead Space 3. Just do better.
Agreed.
Like make Dead Space remake and just call it Dead Space 4.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
a
little
trend
bit
of remaking stuff that doesn't need it, and it's
I agree, but like I know I'm gonna like that's why I'm Adam part of the problem. Blank. Yeah, I am gonna fucking buy it, but I do agree with you. I'll even go one step further and say like the Resident Evil 4 remake, like Resident Evil 4 needs a remake more than Dead Space does, because I love Resident Evil 4, but it's got those fucking weird controls and shit. Like I'm all about it, but I am excited for this. The other thing, dude, is if you've not seen it, have you seen anything or have you heard of Callisto Protocol?
No.
Oh, it's coming out in December, and it is from the original creators of Dead Space. It's like a spiritual successor, because Dead Space is like a different EA studio now. It's like Motive Studio now. But look it up. It's coming out in December. It's my most anticipated game of the year. You're in outer space on like a space prison, and you're trying to break out. It's got the same health bar on the back of your suit and everything. It looks awesome. It looks so good. That might be your Dead Space 4. It's Callisto Protocol. Look it up.
I want to shout out a game while we're doing this.
Yeah.
For games that like do something really great in this Resident Evil formula, that like have a great atmosphere. It's a PlayStation 2 game. It's called Cold Fear, and it's Resident Evil. It's this Dead Space, but it's set on a ship instead. And it's got some problems. The game's not perfect, but it is one of those things that like the whole time you're playing, the ship is moving, so your laser aiming is always moving.
Sick.
It's never. And it's a fantastic game, and I think people should play it. I'd love to cover it sometime. It's one that I've always loved from the PlayStation 2. It's a Capcom game, and it almost feels like I don't know if it came before Resident Evil 4 or after, but it feels like what they were trying to learn to get to Resident Evil 4.
What's it called?
It's called Cold Fear.
Cold Fear.
You play as basically Leon as a Coast Guard. The characters look very similar.
Resident Evil Baywatch.
Yeah. It's fantastic, and it absolutely nails like that atmosphere. It's almost like Resident Evil 4 meets like Resident Evil Dead Aim, just being set on that ship and that third person over the shoulder, and it's phenomenal. And it's one of those games that I was thinking about while playing Dead Space. From like that was a game that has a really great atmosphere as well. There's some problems with it, but it's a fantastic game as well.
I like it. I'm all about these. Like, I can't believe I'm a survival horror fan. I was such a bitch, and maybe it's like I'm almost 40. Maybe I'm like, now that I'm 40 years old, I've seen life. Life is scarier than video games. Maybe that's why I can handle them now. The real world is way scarier than gaming.
The fear of real life.
Yeah, it's to escape it's exactly it. Yeah. Okay. First of all, thank you for doing this. Second of all, I know you make the old tunes, and if people have never heard one of your episodes before, maybe they missed them. I will put it in the description of this podcast. But where can people check out your musical escapades?
Yeah, so I make music under Burger Finger. That's my production name. So I do like live beat production, finger drumming, stuff like that. And then I also play as part of a hip hop duo, Discount Lion Safari.
Best name ever.
And we do like live hip hop. I play live beats, live finger drumming, and then my buddy raps, and we're pretty cool. And we're performing around Edmonton quite a bit, trying to get out of the city. But we're working on some new music now, so we'll hopefully have some new music in the future.
Hell
but,
yeah.
Yeah.
Discount. Fuck, I love that. I won't lie to you, dude. Like, I let my guests plug stuff because I'm like, you're my friends and I want you to plug your stuff. But you in particular, I love the name Discount Lion Safari, and the Simpsons fans, you know what's up. Every time you say it, I'm like, that is the greatest fucking name of all time. Oh my God. Anyway, fuck yeah. So you can find that information in the description of this podcast if you're interested, ladies and gentlemen. And Patrick, buddy, thank you so much. Oh, Dead Space is so fucking good. Thank you. Thank you for doing this, buddy.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
That's going to do it for this week's episode, Patrick. Thank you so much. Not only for spending the last week of your life binging Dead Space to get ready for the episode, but for giving me a call and talking Dead Space, because this game slaps, you slap, this episode slapped. There's a whole lot of slapping going on. I fucking love this game. Do not forget to check out the description of this podcast to find information on where you can find Patrick's music, Discount Lion Safari. I fucking love that name so much. And hey, if you didn't hate this, do us some nice things. Do us some nice things. He fucking note reads good. Do us a favor. Maybe leave us a good review on your podcast service of choice. I'd really appreciate it. I'm not sure what they accomplished, but if the good shows are going to ask for them, I'm going to. Check out our YouTube, youtube.com/rememberthegame. I'm really going to try to put more of my Let's Plays up there. My entire Dead Space playthrough will be up there in the coming days. It's like 10 or 12 hours long. You can watch it in chunks. Help you sleep when you listen to me scream like a little girl and do all that kind of stuff. Or if you want to watch those streams live, twitch.tv/rememberthegame. I get on there as often as I can and just play through whatever I feel like playing through. Patreon.com/rememberthegame. Best way to support us, $2 a month, 2 extra shows every week, 250 some bonus episodes, best value in the history of the universe. And we have a P.O. box. You can find the address at rememberthegamepodcast.com. Don't send me anything big. Just something little. Postcard, a letter. Let me know where you're listening. I'll send you one back. We'll be friends. I think that's just about enough plug-in for this week. I am going to shout out some Patreons and get the fuck out of here. For anyone that is a Patreon, I will be back tomorrow with Expansion Pass 132, where we'll talk all about the new PS Plus tiers. I'll be back on Friday with Game Patch 110.0, where we're talking about all the biggest modern news in gaming, and I'll be back a week from today with Remember the Game number 219. Hopefully, pray to God, assuming I can finish the game, get the episode recorded, get the chat with the sponsor recorded, and get it all finished. We'll be talking Grand Theft Auto 4. Take it easy, everybody. Talk to you on the next one. Cheers. Goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I could not puke up all this content without all of your support. The following people are at the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame. And as such, I am contractually obligated to yell their names as quickly as humanly possible. So a huge thank you to Makeshift Mallow Magic Money, Joe Buck, Sharonic, Andre, Why Does Andy Hate Keek So Much, James Clark, King Bahamut, Dave McGee, DNA Gaming, Slick Rick, Doug Dorn, Charlie Medeiros, Andrew Wright, Jordan, Fraser Burns, Lil Bunny Fufu 89, Angry Ticks, Dave Thompson, No One Cares, Aaron Lawson, Nathan Tremblay, A-Town, Morgan, Zane Donovan, Mike Maloney, G9PSX, Mercury 869, Wolfgang Darren, Sam Wright, Andy Hudson, Chris Copland, Doogie, Wolf Magic 21, Johnny CCDC, Joel LeBlanc, Squints, Titan 420, Zonko 504, Russell Aldridge, Jeff Bergeron, Captain N, Daniel, Tunable Power, John Woodruff, Randy Barrage, Just a Fish, Noob Q, Denzalo, Holmes, Zach Shepard, Chris Dickin, Matthew D'Amico, Frosty Feet 492, Triple, Elijah Burns, Stephen Parnell, Ray Sen Wantongo, Zach Coiner, DBXJ, Jameer Williams, Steve Dalk, Standard Ass Brian, Trav H, Mizuru, Nicholas Chaffee, David Marcus, Phil Lencher, Ruben Elizald, Eric James, Riley Turvey, Jake Carter, Laces Out Dan, C-Spin, Thomas Smith, Nicola, Munch Makuchi, Leroy Westrich, Dark Squall, Jerry the 3D Printed Saustrich, Russell Saggy, Banjo the Bear, Evolva, Sean Ramos, DB Cooper, Mojo the Helper Monkey, Brad Hewitt, Gabe, Dan Fusselman, Fuzzy99, Decoy Man, John Jameson, Wyatt the Surgeon Who's Not a Surgeon Rowe, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Scary Terry, Bucky Duck, Edridge, FPV, Hagel Waffle, High Plains Drifter, K-Hatch, I'm getting lightheaded, That's not a Patreon. Timothy Joestone, Chris Williams, Oroku Saki's Gardner, Nicole Novak, Cody Richardson, General Fury, Dem Boys on the Roof, James Juan Francesco, The Jamadian Nightmare, Matt Hamilton, Nomad, James Black, Jugs and Ben, MK, Sam Carpenter, Nerdy Hybrid, Adam Fletcher, Colin Bollinger. Lucas, Joey Mercury, IR Jacko, Theran, Squeak Nuts, Isaias, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Brian Neese, Christian Gabriel, Maverick Marty, Musty Beetle, Big Poppy Logan, John M. Watkins, Beef Dingleberry, Michael Boujardin, Hitchy Poo, Arctic Vision, Romaldo Marquez, Connor McCann, Bulma Simp, Mark But Not McHugh, Trevor McKee. Holy fuck. Quiet Place Queen, Cam Nelly 23, Zamato, Skilleroony, Angelo Leonardo, Lugnut, Scott Weiss, Oh My God It Froze, Bob Litton, Roger Russell, Kia Pup, Knife Goes In, Gut Comes Out, Works For Me, McGrathen, Heman Demon, James Sanabria, Derek Cox, Dakota Guy, Alexander Camps, Toad Spit, Ryan Perry, Alex R, It's the Bigfoot, Graham, Itchy, Nutsuro, Mr. Papa Giorgio, John Drews, Solomon Soto, Darth Skywalter, and Denton Van Zandt. Dude, that might be the best read I've ever done, but I don't think I can do it like that anymore because I feel like I'm about to pass out. Anyway, thank you so much for the support, everybody. Purple Monkey Dishwasher.